This is a funny episode today because this is a podcast that's about live entertainment, and 90% of what I do in this forum is nightclub performers and cabaret performers per se. And that is the way I know you originally. I've known you and your family and Lois and Jack as a couple for around 15 years now, I think. I was trying to figure it out the other day, but roughly about 15 years ago, I was introduced to Lois by our mutual friend Todd Murray, who's a wonderful singer himself. And she had just recorded an album called Seasons of Love. We were just saying it was probably in 2007, I think. And she and I got together to produce her CD launch party with a show at the Cinegrill at the Hollywood Roosevelt, which went very, very well. And working with Lois, I soon learned that one of her earliest professional experiences was working with Debbie Reynolds. So that was a hoot. Anything you want to tell us about your time with Debbie?
Oh, it was such a magical time of my life. Just to have had that experience of knowing her, knowing Carrie, being kind of in her inner circle for a few years. My friends and I, who were in her show, there were 5 ladies and 5 guys. We all stayed in contact with her over the years, and it was truly one of the most, like I said, magical times of my life. Something so wonderful to have had to look back on, to share with other people, and yeah, just it was. She was great. She called herself Mother, and we were all free to come to her if we needed to for any reason. And she was just a great person. Truly the girl.
I'm hoping that when the smoke clears on this whole COVID experience, that someday we'll be able to be on the new stuff docket with a show about Debbie, your time with Debbie. We're talking about that'll be the next thing we do. When COVID hit, I actually was with Lois. Lois and I had taken a trip down to San Diego to perform the show we put together called High Standards. And I got to say, I always tell Lois that I'm not just being an idle flatterer. It's really one of my favorite shows I've ever worked on. We concentrate on the music of Gershwin and Harold Arlen and Irving Berlin and Cole Porter, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Arrangements by Steve Rollins, the great jazz accompanist, who's been our pianist together for as long as we've worked together, and we had performed it on a very, very horribly rainy day in San Diego on March 12th. And as we came off the stage, Lois got a text from Jack, who said to her, "They've just closed Broadway." I'll never forget it. We were in the audience of that theater, having just performed the show, and you said, "Basketball is closed, and gatherings over 100, gatherings over 50, no, blah blah blah." All right in the aftermath of finishing that show. And then that weekend, we were supposed to do High Standards in Manhattan Beach. I think there were only like 4 seats sold out, right? I mean, we were sold out, just 4 seats left. It was a benefit for the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. And on my train ride back home from San Diego, we got the call that the theater pulled the plug because the governor said no gatherings. And that was basically 4 months ago today, basically. Yeah. And here we
are. On the way, I also got a message saying the schools have closed.
Right. Yes.
Almost. Am I now?
Yes, you are very active in raising your grandson, and who is how old?
He'll be 11 on Monday.
11 on Monday. So you live that life as well. You live the life as a guardian of an 11-year-old. Which what must that be like these days? Do you do the homeschooling?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we actually, he had a lot of help
Yeah.
because he is some teachers that helped him as well. But yeah, we did the whole homeschooling thing and he's still doing some tutoring over the summer online, and it's worked out pretty well for him.
You know,
Um,
you hear such funny things on TV with all these stars that are home with their children now that aren't used to being home with their children. And I saw Jane Krakowski say, "I think I flunked fourth grade," which I think was so
oh,
funny.
I know I flunked math.
And then I saw Lin Manuel Miranda interviewed the other day. Like, here is this is like truly a genius, and he says, "We just finished kindergarten with my son." And he said, "We got to the point where my wife and I had to do alternating days because neither of us could handle it 2 days in a row." He said it was the most stressful thing I've ever been through, teaching kindergarten to his son by Zoom, which is so funny.
Great,
Let's
right?
see, I got another picture here. Oh, this is one of my favorite pictures. You know, actually, Andrew Apple, who we referred to earlier, created this graphic. Lois has had a very prestigious theater career. She's played literally every leading lady in the history of theater. Any leading lady you can mention, but she began her career as a young Dorothy, and later in life she did Glenna. And so I asked Andrew to put together a graphic that combined those two, and we use this to promote Lois's stage work sometimes. And I've always loved that. Isn't that beautiful?